Bienvenue la Tapia, a regular student of PSIT 3. Come join me and let's identify the different components of a panel.
So, let's start with this JFP1 and 2, which are the front panel connectors, while this 1, 2, 3, and 4 are what we call the SATA parts. This one, the JCI1, is what we call the chassis instruction header, while this JUSB 1, 2, and 3 are the USB headers. This one, the JCOM1, is the COM header, and of course, JAUD1, the audio header, and JTPM1, the TPM header. So let's move on here to these small circles right here. This is what we call the capacitors, and the bigger one here is what we call the CMOS battery and the CMOS battery slot. And the oval one right here is what we call the crystal oscillator. And this small square right here is what we call the bias chips. And this black big square right here is what we call the chipset heatsink. And of course this small rectangle right here is what we call the PCI extension X1 slot, and the bigger one right here is what we call the PCI extension X16 slot. While this JSPI1 right here is what we call the SPI header, and the hole right here is what we call the screw holes. And of course, the small black squares right here is what we call the MOSFETs, and the bigger one like this is what we call the chokes or inductor. This one, the CPU PWR1, is what we call the 4-pin CPU power connector. Then this one is the CPU, and under the CPU, that is the CPU socket, and CPU fan 1 and SYS fan 1 are what we call the fan headers. And also, this black square right here is what we call the power management IC. This one is the 24-pin ATX power connector. These two long right here is what we call the DIMM memory slot. The green and purple right here is what we call the PS2, while this one is what we call the parallel port. Then the HDMI port, and the 4 ports right here is what we call the USB port, then the LAN port, and lastly, the audio ports.